And I am thrilled to be able to spend a couple of minutes talking about how practical this message is with you, Matt. And it's not every day I get to do this with my son. And so this is a huge blessing.
Oh, I'm happy to do it with you.
Yeah, you're usually on the other side of you're behind the scenes with the cameras. So, wow. You know, I think about love, sacrificial love. I think about parenting, and maybe because I'm here with you, I think of all the sacrifices that parents make for kids. There was a lot with Matt. I'm just going to say. But I think every parent is this place where you used to have kind of this me time, and now that me time is really absorbed in caring for somebody else, and your love for them just overrides anything you'd want to do on your own because you love them so much. And you know, I think of times, you know, like for example, like when you were a toddler and decided with your big wheel bike that I don't know where you thought you were going, but it was far. And just the idea of how quickly a child can move and do something. And it's just, I think God is like that all the time. He's always 2 steps ahead of us, thinking about us and rerouting us, bringing us back into his love, into his fold. So it's a very that point between the cultural and God, the biblical view of love. It is very self-sacrificing.
Yeah, and I think you guys did a great job. I think growing up, there were some moments for sure. And I think you did a great job with unconditional love, allowing us to make mistakes and at the same time not, being patient with us. And I think of all the moments, you know, we used to as kids be at church hours early when we were meeting at the Landmark Hotel. And there were some moments there when, as kids, you just are kind of like, well, you know, there's not really anything to do for the next 3 hours. And I think there was a lot of patience that you both showed us as kids. I want to start telling some stories, but I don't know if we can.
Like when you left and didn't tell us that you went on Robson Street on your own and we didn't even know about it?
Well, I'll tell a story here because, you know, it was your birthday yesterday, by the way. It was Pastor Dave's birthday yesterday, so... I texted him yesterday and I just said, I just appreciated all the years you've been a mentor to me and you've been very patient with me and have given me a lot of wisdom, I feel like, over the years. One of the things, too, I think growing up, you were very patient and allowing me to make mistakes without making me feel like I'm a bad person. And I think one of these stories when we were growing up in church was, I remember we bought this. There was a store that used to exist called San Francisco, and they used to sell these prank items. And I remember I bought this perfume one time. I don't know, maybe 10 or 12, and I bought this perfume with my own money called the Morning Breeze perfume. And it was prank perfume. It smelled like a sulfur factory. It was so bad. And I bought it, and I thought, I'm going to bring this to church, and I'm going to show this to people. And so there was, I remember BB had the books. It wasn't a bookstore, it was a book table. So we were meeting at the hotel, and there was a conference room there. And then outside, there was this lobby. And so she set up her bookstore, her book table in like a U shape. And she was behind there. And I was like, I want her to smell this because she was like, oh, it's going to really gross her out. So I brought it to her, and she was like, she took it from my hand. She's like, oh, perfume, let me put that on. And she like put it on. And I was like, no. And then that foyer, oh my gosh, it smelled so bad. Like as people are walking into church, it was just like, it smelled so bad. And I was like, Dad's not going to be happy about this. Like, you know, and so people were coming in, and I thought it was funny. She ran into the washroom. She's trying to scrub this off of her neck. And I'm going to get in deep trouble for this. And I remember you came out, and you were like, what is that smell? What's going on? And you came out, but I remember your reaction was you were like, Matt, what is this? And I was like, well, I bought this thing. And I remember you didn't tell me to even destroy it because I was like, I bought this with my own money. And you were like, well, just go find a place to hide it. You're like, go put it somewhere then. Like, it wasn't like, give me that. Or there wasn't this anger of like, you know, why would you bring that to church? You were just like, okay, well, go hide it somewhere for now and then get it after the service is over. And so I remember, I don't know why that stuck with me more than the story was just the way that you reacted to that moment where I didn't feel like I was being, and that, you know, it affected you because you were trying to build a good experience for new people coming coming in, and it was not a great experience them walking in. And so, but what sticks with me is the unconditional love that you guys showed, and I think that was us growing up. Was you guys both really exemplified that, of allowing us to make mistakes and not feel like we were ever scared of you or scared of even coming to church because of that, and just showing love to us even when we did make mistakes. So.
Well, I'm glad that was a one-time thing, that's for sure.
Oh, there's a few more. Anyways, yeah. Yeah.
At least the smell.
At least the smell.
The scent.
Yeah.
The scent. Actually, I'm thinking about the scent, and this is just jumping off of that, God's unconditional love. And that last point that Dad made with cultural love versus biblical love. And one of them is that love isn't based on your senses. And, we are sensory individuals, thinking of sense. That was definitely, people picked up on that, but we pick up on beautiful smells. That's why the cologne and fragrance industry is what it is, because we like those smells. We like beautiful things. We notice certain, types of clothing. We like certain types of food because we're so sensory. So God created us that way. But I think that last point of what Dad was talking about, where it's like, do you love me more than these? Do we put is that we're like, oh, I love that. And we start to chase after that so that we can put our identity in those things. And that's where the cultural love says it's sensory, chase after these things and you'll become something, where God's like, no, but that love isn't my love.
Yeah, love is unselfish. And one of the things I was thinking of while you were preaching too and making that point was just 1 Corinthians chapter 13, where he talks about love is patient, love is kind. And that really is the practical application of what it means to walk in love, walk in that agape love as believers. So.
Yeah, that's good. So we've been empowered, receive our superpower that can only come from God, because he's the only one who is love. So